All right, we're on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the BackMarkers F1 show.
Number one, unlike what the Williams will be this year, but at least we're number one for something.
I didn't like the comment where basically everybody was saying, oh, it's Max. What the fuck does that mean? Wait, I'm sorry, that was real?
No, yeah, that was real.
real.
Someone went up and took a mic and just went.
Oh my god, that is great. I thought that was fake.
Poor Roman Grosjean, man. That's the next thing I had. The poor guy.
I feel for him, man.
He started 20th, has a fantastic drive, moves up 12 spots, 13 spots, and then just plows it into the wall. Fernando Alonso has to be cringing for the amount of reliability and pace that Toro Rosso has had in the first week of testing. What is it? I think Pierre Gasly did 140 laps, and the engine didn't blow up, which is never happened. How impressive is Honda turning up? Maybe they just didn't like McLaren, and McLaren blows a tire on their first day. I don't know if you saw the meme.
Yeah.
So their tire falls off. Their wheel. They had a problem with their wheel nut. Yeah. And there was Alonso checking his tire to see what was happening, and then the next picture was a Honda branded tire.
Oh yeah.
I said, oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, poor Fernando.
But I'm impressed to see what Honda can do, and maybe McLaren made the wrong decision. Maybe Toro Rosso knows something that McLaren doesn't, and who knows, if they have this reliability, do we see Red Bull, the big team, take this in the future and step away from the Renault powered car that they have right now?
All the other teams are a little bit more kind of old school, closed
Ferrari.
up. Ferrari's trying to sort of put some
but they have
personality
Raikkonen
into it. But he's on Instagram now.
Raikkonen's on Instagram?
You didn't know
That
this?
is hilarious.
Oh man, you've really been in the off season. I think there was one where he posted a picture of snow and then he just wrote snow.
Okay, he's a character, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's so
he'd post videos of him on his dirt rally track, I guess at home or something like that.
Yeah, of course he has a rally track at home.
Just doing this. It's interesting.
How much is Ferrari cringing watching this?
That I was about to say is I don't know if he's allowed to do any of this.
He's at home, so
yeah.
Man, that is a motorsport god, Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah.
What he can do, how talented he is, and everything.
But it's interesting now that he's see if you can go on the very first video. His very first post was hilarious. Because you're gonna appreciate this.
Fine.
Hello everyone. This time I don't know what I'm doing, but let's see what happens. This is my Instagram, so let's see if you want to follow me.
Let's see if anyone can follow me.
You know what's funny though? The only American team in Formula One had the gun problem.
Are you serious?
After the first race, thank you.
That was well done.
I'm here all week.
That was well done.
All right, now that we're over that.
now that you got that out of your system.
Let's move something that America knows well, the Middle East.
Nailed it.
What do you mean, Tyler?
To Bahrain. We've actually never been to Bahrain, but anyways.
I wish the U.S. could say the same, but anyway,
off to Bahrain. It's an electric start.
I'm sure everybody saw this in the broadcast.
So just to set this up, they came together early on in the race. Max Verstappen was a little bit aggressive, kind of pushing in there. Lewis Hamilton might have turned in a little bit to him as well. I don't know. I kind of saw it just as a racing incident.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen is known for a guy that's just going to dive right in there, and he doesn't really care who's driving. So he is aggressive. But that's what you're going to expect with him.
It's just to see Vettel's face as soon as he says it too.
Right.
If you guys can hear that, right after the race, there you can see the contact there. Lewis Hamilton says, "What a dickhead." But yeah.
Can you play it again just so we can see Vettel's reaction? I don't know if it'll let us get that far.
I'll try to pause it. Right there. We found this. I guess this was they had a conference afterwards.
Correct. You used the word head after the race concerning Max Verstappen and the overtake and the contact. Is that correct?
Can I answer that question?
Yeah.
I think it's not fair. I don't know what Lewis did. I'm sure he didn't. We all been in that situation. We fight someone and we go sometimes wheel to wheel and it's close and we have a lot of adrenaline going. Do you think, comparing to football, if you have a microphone on a football player's mouth, that everything he says is something nice? sends a nice message when the guy tackles him, and maybe sometimes he fouled him or not. So I don't think it's justified to give us this kind of questions.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
We're just racing, and we're full of adrenaline, and sometimes, we say these things. I mean, if I hit you in your face, you're not going to tell me, oh, Sebastian, that wasn't nice. It's a real reaction, and sometimes I feel it's all a bit blown up and artificial if we have these questions trying to make a story out of nothing.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's a little bit of reverse psychology there from Seb. It makes it tough for Red Bull to decide, what are we going to do, and then you're trying to hang on to Daniel Ricciardo, to make sure that he doesn't lead, because if you don't provide him with some results within the next 2-3 races, it's going to be difficult for him to resign.
We said on our last show that he's already thinking about when he was saying he was going to wait till halfway through the season.
Yeah.
So if he's already thinking about it, you want to try to make your driver stay. Like you don't want to lose a driver like that.
I think it's easier for them to build their team around Verstappen because he's a bit younger. He's the future, obviously, most likely a future world champion. So they want to keep him down. They offered him a decent contract. And I think that they can make him the number one driver outright.
I think you were right about that, 100%.
Yeah, and I think that's what Ricardo might look. Ricardo might look elsewhere because, he's getting a little bit older and he does want to win. So he has to sort of assess his options and see, is it time to just leave, and join the other team? But sorry, go ahead.
Who do you think he would go for?
I think he's going to go to Ferrari.
Yeah, I would think the same.
Yeah. And I think Raikkonen will probably retire at the end of this season. Yeah. He's shown good pace throughout the first 2 races. Disappointing start in Bahrain. I think that he could have maybe been a little bit more aggressive off the start. And then obviously just really bad luck with the pit stop.
It is kind of both their faults.
Yeah.
It is. I would agree it's both. Yeah.
I think it's both as well. I wouldn't put it on just on one person there.
Yeah, I think Danny has to be have a little more realization that it's Max. So I think he's going to be aggressive.
I think he lost a lot of patience behind Verstappen.
He passed him, and then he lost the pass during the pit stop phase.
Yeah, and he just overcooked it. He had DRS, he had a little bit of a slipstream and a toe, and then he just. And then again, like if Verstappen would have just picked one line like he's supposed to, because you can weave to a certain point when you enter the braking zone.
If this is what if I was Max, would happen? Let him have the inside. He's gonna have the inside. He's gonna really overcook it. Go on the outside, and then in the exit, get a good drive off the exit, and turn back on the inside and pass him that way. And then you have the inside to the next turn.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Maybe we'll see just there's a few angles. Here. They'll show the replay. It's a little bit.
I mean, to be fair, they're going 320 kilometers an hour. That's hard to make a decision that quick.
Yeah, easy for us to say. Right?
Yeah, as we're watching it.
I think it shouldn't have happened, of course, but it doesn't matter who to blame. It's just bad for the team.
Yeah. Here we go.
See, there's the
but
that's the
you
move.
saw what Tyler you were saying there. If you could just back it up maybe just a little bit, you see Verstappen just made that slight move to the inside,
and it's not a full line change, but it's a half line change.
Yeah,
right here.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know. Looking back on it, I would put maybe 70-30 blame there for Verstappen.
Yeah,
Verstappen definitely deserves majority of the blame. Like I would say 60-40. But yeah, like it's definitely on both the drivers there at that point. And I didn't realize it was like direct wheel contact too. I thought it was just one wheel hitting each other, but I didn't realize it was like wheel to wheel. It was bad, man.
Real bad. Yeah, here we go.
Right here, like it's
oh my god! Like,
at that point, like you can see, he's like, "Whoa, what do I do?"
So you can see that when Ricciardo made his last move to the inside, he was committed.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, when you're going at they're at 320, maybe even 330 at that point. I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to overcorrect that, because if he would have like wildly overcorrected, he goes straight into the
going in the wall,
which can be a bit more dangerous. But you see that
just right there. You can see right here is his reaction, where it's like,
yeah, he's like,
what? What do I do? Like, I need to brake right now. You can see the 100-meter board right on the side of the screen there as well. That's his braking point.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, I'm gonna park my car right under Max.
Well, yeah. See, this is where he's pulled over to the right, and immediately he's ready to go back.
So
to the
at
left.
this point, they can still sort of play.
Yeah,
the
you're still
blocking
playing
game.
around.
Yeah, you're
you're
still
at
playing
200
around.
meters, 150 meters.
And this pulls to the left.
You're at 150 meters here, 175 meters ish.
So I feel like this is where both of them have committed to their lines.
Yes.
Max is going
That
He's
way.
gone
outside,
out to the right. Ricardo's going back to the left.
right on the inside.
And then right
this
here,
is where
and you can see you're about 125 meters now.
Yeah.
Your braking point's in 25 meters. You're gonna start braking, and that's when you can see
Right
he's
here.
right here. You see
Ooh.
your 100 meter. He's starting to brake now because
And
he
you can-
realizes Max is coming in.
And you can see just how little room there is, and that's because Verstappen moved over.
Yeah.
When we saw the frame before, Ricardo had plenty of room to
had
go
a
on the inside. So he moved over. So looking back on it now a little bit, I would
Now
put-
you're screwed.
And,
Yeah.
and this is
This is
where,
trouble.
like, Ricardo, he tries to go back to the right, but he realizes as soon as he turns, he can't do it. Like,
No.
he has no
He-
space. He
he's
has
locked up.
He's no space, and then
boom.
That's a lot of
then there it is.
poor Roman Grosjean, man. Like,
That's the next thing I had.
like the poor guy.
Feel for him. Man.
He started 20th, has a fantastic drive, moves up 12 spots, 13 spots, and then just plows it
Just
into the wall.
plows.
and leave it to the American
Damn.
team to just spread fake news. They're like, yeah, Ericsson hit you.
What?
And then you
didn't
see in the
even hear
replay
of
that
this.
Ericsson is like 10 feet behind
He's like
him.
walking up, trying not to hit Grosjean. Like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like,
and he literally like steers out of the way so he doesn't.
Yeah,
hit
he's like on the
other
radio. He's
car.
like, sorry, man, I think Ericsson hit you. Like, where do you see that?
I don't know. But like, I just feel so bad. Like, it's one of those like mistakes where you're like, wow, what an idiot. But at the same time, it's like I understand like how it could happen. It's just he had a great drive. Like, he was my driver of the day before he plowed it into the wall himself. And it wasn't even like it was like a soft impact. Like, he
smashed
He
it.
reefed on it
He
right in. Like,
creamed the wall. Like, he couldn't hit it harder himself unless he like tried to like just not.
yeah, like he literally went like turns toward the wall and just fucking floored
Well,
it.
like, he's warming up his tires, but like obviously.
Oh, he
there
warmed
was-
them up good.
Obviously,
He warmed the wall up. Once again, the second week in a row that Marcus Ericsson collided with Roman Grosjean. Marcus Ericsson, man, what are you
But
doing?
it's almost like it's the same thing that happened in the last race too. Like, his car just went off of it. Like, he just
Yeah.
steered a little bit too, I guess, left, and then tried to steer back into the race, and it just stay off the track, man. If you're gonna go out, just stay off the track. In my opinion, like, it was already happening.
You bring up a really good point, and the commentators were saying the same thing too. That I didn't see exactly what happened, but yeah, at one point he just lost control, and then he just throttled it.
Oh my god, yeah, like. If you've ever played any racing sim ever, that never works. You trying to like push on the gas when you're already off track will steer your car more off track. It never works, man. I do it every time.
Yeah.
And I can I'm telling myself this to remind myself because it never works. It
No,
never does.
And especially in a real race, right?
Yeah.
And so next thing you know, you just saw a plume of smoke,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously nobody could see coming through that, and then Hulkenberg ran into him, lost a tire. Who was it? Gasly ran into him.
Oh my
as
god!
well.
I felt they did a recap on Gasly going into that crash, and man, I felt so awful for him.
Yeah.
Like, it's like he just sort of ended up in that position. No matter what he did, he was gonna end up in that exact same position. Like, you tried to see him try to steer out the way multiple times. I felt bad for that guy.
So this was in the press conference, and then they were just like, "Hey Max, so what do you think about Sebastian Vettel's lap 1 incident?"
Oh,
And
this is-
Verstappen says,
Yeah, I think next time you see Seb, you should ask him to change his style.
"We'll just watch
because
Hamilton in the middle."
Honestly, it's not acceptable. That's what
And
they
you gotta
said
watch
to me in
Kimi's
the beginning
face
of
too,
the season, so I
because-
think they should do the same.
Barely blinks.
And then, of course, Seb shouldn't do anything and just drive again and learn from this and go on. That's my advice to everyone in this room.
The other thing is, man, he has such a straight face as he's saying that. I would have burst out laughing
Yeah.
halfway through my comment if I was Verstappen.
I just loved watching. Just three faces there. You got Hamilton's laughing, Verstappen who's being sarcastic,
And then there's Kimi who's trying to play it cool for his teammate.
yeah, maybe not. Maybe he's just completely like zoned out of it too. But yeah, that was really funny. So Verstappen just calling out the media. He's done it before. Last week or 2 weeks ago in Canada, he said that he wanted to headbutt some journalists. for asking him the same question. So now he's coming back at the media again. So, he's got a little bit of an attitude.
A little
that
bit.
young
I mean, he's
Dutchman
still
does.
young. He's still young. So
Like
I mean,
it.
I see it. So
he's got a lot of fire in him. So, but I must say, good for Max Verstappen.
he had a really good race.
Yeah, good recovery. Or no, so last couple races have been a good recovery from the
I mean,
crashes.
he's making those comments to the media, but it looks like he did take a little bit of he didn't take their advice, but he did kind of change up his driving style. There's the last couple of races I've noticed, like, there was times where I'd be like, Verstappen's definitely going to go into that corner, try to overtake, where he's played it cool and he's let the driver he's given the space, or he's just played it a little back. So it's interesting to see, and I think the Monaco was definitely in the changing race for Verstappen, and he's just improved from there, in my opinion.
But if the rumors are true, Ferrari don't really want him. I think his options are sort of running out because I highly doubt he's going to go to McLaren, and he shouldn't.
I agree. And Ricciardo is a driver that needs to move up. I'm not saying Red Bull's a bad team. He's made those point finishes, so obviously he's the driver to do it. But I mean, I don't want to see him go to McLaren. But if McLaren makes those improvements to their car, I would love to see Daniel Ricciardo bring them back to what McLaren used to be.
True. Yeah. No, I agree, but it's always a question, right? I mean, the last 5 years, McLaren's just been, plummeting.
Yeah.
Really,
exactly.
year after year. So if you're Ricciardo, you're, 28, 29, and you're looking to make that next step to really compete for a championship, I don't think that you want to go to a team that's just trying to figure things out.
Well, exactly. And if I was Ricciardo at 28, 29, I want to go to a team that I'm going to be staying at for the next 5 to whatever many years where I'm going to be winning. And McLaren is just, where are they going to be the next 5 to 10 years?
Right.
So
it might take them another 5 years to get to where Red Bull is.
And at that point, Ricciardo's not going to want to be there. He's gonna want to leave, or he's going to want to retire not retire, but based on his performances with McLaren. So. Yeah, like McLaren would need to make the improvements this year, and we would need to see the change by the end of the year before I want to see Ricciardo in a McLaren suit. So
yeah, he's expressed before that he doesn't want to race into his late 30s. So I think probably by 34, 35 he would be done.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, for him just to go to McLaren just because they offered him $20 million a year,
yeah.
I mean. He does get underpaid at Red Bull because Verstappen got that big new contract, and he does deserve to get a nice paycheck. Kimi Räikkönen, lightning start, and I got to touch on Kimi Räikkönen because maybe we were wrong, maybe I was wrong. Going back to France and Canada, I was saying maybe it is time for Charles Leclerc to move into his seat. But man, after watching him in Australia, Kimi still has the fire. Yeah. I mean, he locked up into literally 5 or 6 corners on the first lap because he was pushing so hard.
Well, you knew that was that was a race where it's okay, he can win this race because they're not going to swap. I'm glad they didn't swap places with Vettel.
Thank God.
At the end,
yeah.
Thank God they didn't do that. That would have really irked me.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he can. Well, he's still in the championship. He's only 40 points behind. We have to kind of keep that in the fact too.
It's pretty close, man. Between other than maybe Vettel and Hamilton, 3rd to 6th can really go to anybody at the moment.
It is. I mean, this kind of shook up everything in terms of the championship with both Mercedes falling out. But yeah, I agree. I think Raikkonen is still in the mix, and if he drives like that week in and week out, I think Ferrari's going to have a kind of tough decision. I heard some rumors that that Leclerc had signed something with Ferrari. Just rumors at this point. I don't know if it's true. But at this point, if Kimi's going to drive like that and he wants to come back in 2019, I'd definitely give him the seat. He should have won that race.
I was reading online, and who knows? Obviously, it's online. But it was Kimi maybe going to McLaren.
McLaren, yeah.
Oh my
we saw that
God.
too. Yeah. Imagine
Why?
Fernando and Kimi and McLaren together. I mean,
I
poor
don't know.
Stoffel. He'll figure something out, but maybe he'll go to
If you thought Raikkonen was great on team radio now, just wait till he gets to McLaren.
McLaren had the best.
Oh my
team
God,
radio
that would
ever.
actually be the best team radio with Fernando and Kimi.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I would. That should just be a show on its own.
And it's not like they haven't been teammates before. They have been, I believe.
Oh yeah, at Ferrari,
Ferrari.
2014. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. But then Fernando was still kind of chill. Now
Yeah, because he was somewhat maybe winning race.
Right. But yeah, that would imagine if they could allow Fernando and Kimi just to talk to each other in between the race.
Oh, they'd just be shooting the shit.
If you guys didn't see the comments made, Lewis Hamilton, he's supposed to do the interviews in Parc Fermé once they get out of the car. He ran into the cool-down room, so they did the interview on the podium, and he said, Ferrari's tactics were interesting, suggesting that it was deliberate.
Right.
James Allison of Mercedes, who, by the way, used to work for Ferrari, said that, the move was either deliberate or incompetent. Toto Wolff sort of echoed the same thoughts. And it was just excuses and sort of just Mercedes were being sore losers. And Lewis Hamilton did come out, the day after, kind of, sort of apologizing, I guess. Not really, though. and with Lewis Hamilton, I guess it didn't bother me as much because I get it. He's a driver. He just came out of the car.
Yeah.
Adrenaline. He's tired. I can understand that. But, to get that from Mercedes, I think that was pretty bad.
No, I agree. And it was nice for Lewis to come out the next day, though.
I mean, I had to pull it up. I couldn't not pull it up if we're going to talk about it.
Oh, this was on the podium, right?
And you're up here in second place. But I sensed when you got out of the car, you were still pretty unhappy.
Well, my team did an amazing job this weekend, and we've got just so much support, there's so much pressure, obviously, for us all. Interesting tactics, I would say, from their side, but we'll do what we can to fight them.
When I first heard that,
in the next races.
when he said their side, I thought he meant his mechanics.
Oh, right.
That's what I thought he meant, or his strategy calls, his team strategy calls. That's what I first thought. And then I saw the comments coming after, and I was like, oh, maybe that's what he meant.
Again, with the driver, but again, with Lewis Hamilton, it's always the same thing. When he wins, it's always the best fans in the world. I've got the best team behind me, the best people. And then when he loses, it's, he's crying about it almost, if we can say in that part. Again, more understandable when you're a driver, you just come out of a grueling race, fine, whatever. But to come from, a team boss and Mercedes just in general, who have, destroyed everyone in the championship the last 4 years, and now when they have a little bit of pressure coming on their shoulders, well, now they're cracking under it.
Yeah.
And it's like, they didn't mention the fact that, yes, Mercedes, Ferrari's strategy meeting before the race was, okay, guys, so Seb, Kimi, this is what we're going to do. Seb, you're going to get a brilliant start off the line. Hamilton, he's not going to start so well. Bottas, Vettel's going to pass him. Okay, Kimi, this is where you come in. In turn 3, you're going to just punt Lewis off the road, damaging your race. You're going to get a penalty, but we'll come back anyway, okay? All right. Ferrari on 3. 1, 2, 3, break.
Obviously, it's not the team meeting.
Right?
It makes no sense. Obviously, Kimi's not going to go out there and want to just lolly-daw and crash his car because he wants to race too.
Yeah, he wants to win races. He doesn't want to be the teammate that crashes into other drivers.
That's
so
what
his
Daniel Kvyat's for.
Right, yeah. That's what Grosjean is for.
No, that's
Just
not his
like-
fault.
yeah.
That's not his fault.
Fine, we'll go there later.
It wasn't his fault.
Yeah. But I completely agree. I mean, that's not what they're doing here, and like you said, it doesn't only
fault.
it doesn't only ruin his race, it ruins Kimi's as well, because Kimi could have been in there for the race win.
Yeah, absolutely.
He finished P3 by the end of it. And another thing too, Lewis, you finished a place ahead of where you were on lap 1 anyway. He spun on lap 1. By lap 12, he was in P5, P6.
Yeah.
So if you would have finished let's say dead last, if you would have DNF'd, I could understand you'd be being more angry. But I would say be thankful that you finished P2. You're only 8 points behind the championship now. I mean, just because you're British doesn't mean that we're just going to hand you the trophy.
Yeah, it was a good recovery drive for sure from Lewis. I mean, it wasn't too hard when you have backmarkers on DRS straights.
Lewis Hamilton said, quote unquote, that they're trying to do a few trick things on the new Ferrari. Now, he's not suggesting that they're doing anything illegal, but he's just saying that Mercedes and the rest of the grid just can't understand where Ferrari, is getting this extra power from and extra performance. So, these are the certain comments that Hamilton makes, and I wanted to pull up this video. This was on the interview after Sky Sports 1 with Christian Horner, and Christian Horner, no love lost, I guess, between him and Hamilton and some of the other drivers on the grid. But he was completely honest about Lewis Hamilton complaining about Ferrari, and just have a listen to what he says. It's really funny.
We need to make a step. You can see, the Ferrari and Mercedes. It's interesting to hear Lewis moaning about Ferrari now. I nearly got my violin out. But, the gap is significant. And I think if we can just close that, and Honda are making great progress.
So that was pretty much in response to, Hamilton complaining almost in a sense that Ferrari, just way too quick on the straights, couldn't catch him. And Christian Horner's like, well, what are you talking about? The last 4 years, you guys have dominated the entire grid, and nobody's been close with the exception of 2017. And even then, they won the championship clearly. So, since 2014 up until this year, they've had the most powerful engine. They've been destroying everybody when it's, come to power heavy circuits. Now that when the tables are slightly turned, Hamilton has a problem with it. So, that's the sort of irony in it, and it's funny. It messed up his race, and quite frankly, I think it's going to mess up the championship for him. The gap is now 30 points, and I know that in previous years, Vettel's made up a 39-point gap on Fernando Alonso, I believe it was in the 2012 season. So it's not like the championship is 100% over, but in my opinion, I don't think that Vettel will win the Drivers' Championship this year. He's making far too many mistakes, and against a driver like Lewis Hamilton, love him or hate him, he doesn't make any mistakes usually. He's a very, very good driver, and you saw it in this race why he is a 4-time champion, and I think he will be a 5-time champion at the end of this season because he hasn't made big critical mistakes like this. If he's had any issues, it's been mechanical or it's been other cars sort of running into him. I think that he has the mental advantage here, and I think he has the driving advantage as well. Vettel's just making far too many mistakes. He has that slight attitude problem that I think all drivers have. You saw it Saturday, what I was talking about earlier, where he was upset about not being on pole, and then you saw it in the way he was driving in that, opening couple of corners. He looked just almost frustrated that he had to start P2 behind Kimi, and it's, fair is fair. Raikkonen had the better lap. He's on pole, and he should have backed off a little bit and understood that big picture championship-wise, he needs to stay clean, especially in that first lap, so that he can get a good run at Raikkonen and keep Lewis Hamilton behind him. Because even if Raikkonen would have won that race and Vettel would have stayed P2, it still would have favored Sebastian Vettel in terms of the championship. It would have favored Ferrari in terms of the Constructors' Championship, but I think Sebastian Vettel was very selfish in this race. Just quickly on that first lap, I don't know, I think it was Grosjean who was just like, he saw the first chicane and he was like, yeah, no thanks.
And he just cut the corner. But he never got a penalty for it. No one said it. They don't ever, just kind of forgot. He made like 8 positions on that opening.
Yeah, he's just like well, screw this. I'm not going to.
That was the game plan. It was.
Someone's going to crash and no one's going to remember what happened.
Remember, I don't know if you guys remember this. It was last year when they were releasing those driver briefing videos. And that was Grosjean was the one who the next race spoke up, because Charlie Whiting's always like, does anybody have anything from the previous race? And then Grosjean, he's like, a couple drivers cut to turn 1 at Singapore, and he's like, Perez I think was one of them. Perez was like, what the hell, man?
Didn't Perez talk to him after? He talked to Charlie after and be like, I never did this on purpose.
Yeah.
Man, talk about sucking up.
Last year it was understandable because there was 3 cars that plummeted into the wall, but this year Grosjean just made an effort. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna completely cut the chicane or the turn. So
he saw a little plume of smoke and was like, I got it. Don't worry, we're good.
Yeah. Just Sergei Sorokin was my driver of the day.
Yeah, I agree. He was my driver. He provided the most entertainment because he got the leaders close to each other at one point too. He was doing overtakes in blue flag conditions. I loved it. I'm sure no one else on the actual track liked it, but I loved it. He was Sergei Sorokin. Come back to F1 next season if you're gonna do that all race. But
yeah, I think he's got a drive for me.
Yeah.
You just not necessarily ignoring blue flags, but just refuse to give up positions.
Yeah, he's like, no, man, this is a race, which I love.
Yeah,
we have to have more of that.
At one point, I think it was Verstappen. When Verstappen's like, no, Max, they're racing.
Yeah,
they're racing. Wait, I'm sorry, that was real?
No, yeah, that was real. Someone went up and took a mic and just went.
Oh my god, that is great. I thought that was fake.
No, it's the only American thing that you could ever do. But it was live on. I was watching the race, and I'm like, oh, someone just stole a mic somewhere. The audio guy left it for 10 seconds at least.
Okay, the audio guy was probably having a blast. Guys, this is great.
The best part was that he spaced it out. He did a couple that was like, meow meow, and then he waited, meow.
That's fantastic.
It was perfect.
No, they have to find the guy that did that because he is a legend.
He's got to come forward and.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah,
so we can praise him properly.
Get him on the show.
Well done, sir. I will.
Get him on the show.
If you're listening out there, Neo guy, we will have you. We will have you on any day. I don't blame him either for his reaction. It's like Christian Horner said that Ocon was lucky that he just got pushed. I would agree too.
Yeah.
I think he's very lucky that Max probably would have kicked his ass.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I mean, like, I thought Esteban was always kind of like a really nice guy and stuff like that, but I don't know, maybe he's got an edge to him that we've sort of seen today, and there's history between the two of them. I don't think he did it on purpose, but I think the fact that Verstappen was the leader and was next to him was a big factor. And to me, this is why this was so, it angered me, and I mean, like, we like Max Verstappen, but I mean, it's not, like we're the biggest fans of him and stuff like that, but I don't understand. We were talking about this before we got on the air. I don't understand how you don't defend Max in this case. And I see people are like, well, Max should have gave him more room and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, he's the race leader.
He's the race leader.
He's in the advantage. I mean, you got a guy who's P16. If he was 10th, 9th, 8th, we've seen a couple of those races where, whatever the case is, they get lapped. And you want to fight to stay on the lead lap, or you've got, you're fighting for position. He had just made a pit stop. He wasn't anywhere near, the next car in front.
No.
And he was P16 and a lap down.
I honestly just don't understand it. Like, why would you try to race the race leader? Like, what is your advantage in that situation?
Exactly.
Like, there's no reason for you to try to race the race leader. You're slowing him down. You're slowing the rest of the pack down, as well as ruining a race for a lot of people, and especially one person in that circumstance.
Mad Max, angry ass Dutchman.
I just honestly, I just don't get it. He's going to be hearing about it a lot for his upcoming race, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it too till the next race. But
for sure, it was just ridiculous to me. I mean, it's like you touched on. What's the advantage? Okay, let's say Ocon gets by him in that corner. There's another straight that follows that. It's the second DRS zone. So you could pretty much guarantee that he would have gotten by him in that straight going into the corner. So what's your advantage? It's not like the Force India had blistering pace and speed. He was on fresher tires, but Max would have gotten by him, and he would have gotten blue flags in the end to let the race leader go by him.
Alonso got, I think, 2 blue flags.
Not only that, but he and Van Dorn got penalized for ignoring blue flags. So I mean, they both got like penalty points, which makes no difference. They're gone next year.
They're gone.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I just don't see people that were like, oh, well, Max should have gave him more room. Sometimes on these issues we're maybe in the middle, and for me, I always sort of try and see both sides.
Yeah. But
I think in this case, I'm 100% that this was Ocon's fault, and I don't know. I mean, I don't see why Max Verstappen should say, oh, sorry, Esteban, let me, you can just go by me. He's in the race lead. He's running his own race, 2 separate races, P1 and P16.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just inexcusable. You
no,
can't
it doesn't make
do that.
No, you should not be allowed to do that whatsoever.
And then what I hate is like Hamilton in the debrief room was like,
about to say the same thing.
And I'm like, you know what, Lewis? If that was you would have been asking for Ocon's head on a stick.
Oh, 100%.
So like, let's stop with the he should have this and that. If it would have happened to you, you would have been asking for him to be suspended.
I didn't like the comment where basically everybody was saying, "Oh, it's Max." What the fuck does that mean?
With Ocon too, I thought that his comments too were very unfair.
Oh, I actually didn't get to see his comments.
Well, he kind of acted like an asshole, to be honest with you, and he was like, "Oh well, not much to say." He basically was saying like it wasn't his fault, and that he's fighting to stay on the lead lap and all this type of stuff.
Oh my god!
But it's just funny because obviously he's a Mercedes driver, so. Yeah. I'm not saying it wasn't a conspiracy.
No,
I
don't take it as that whatsoever.
There's people just making jokes as relating to that. But it's funny because when Hamilton leads a race, I mean, Ocon sometimes nearly parks his car and gets out of it to let Hamilton by him. For me, it didn't really feel like it was his final race.
No, it didn't.
I had a weird feeling about it. I don't know. This is just my opinion personally, but I got the sense too that it wasn't his last race in F1. I don't think Fernando Alonso is the type of guy that's going to retire with the couple of years that he's had at McLaren. Nobody wants to remember him that way.
He's going to retire like how Nico Rosberg retired. Except like Rosberg was a lot more shocking. But I think he's going to go for another championship run. And then, in the years to come, one final push. And then he's going to say, okay, that was it.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas, Tyler.
Merry Christmas. Well, you know what? Happy holidays.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God.
Well,
you're one of
we have
those
viewers
people.
from everywhere.
Stop.
That's true.
We have viewers from all over.
I mean,
the world.
I'm Indian, and I'm not upset that you said Merry Christmas. To me.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
Okay, I have 2 funny moments. I thought of them real quick.
Let's hear 'em.
Are we doing funny moments now?
I mean, I thought of
So
2
many.
really
Yeah, let's
quick.
just fire them off.
Okay.
Mine was Vettel shit talking the media about asking stupid questions, and then Max shit talking the media again for all the comments he got at the beginning of the season.
That's fair. Mine was Romain Grosjean crashing by himself and blaming it on Marcus Ericsson.
Sorry,
That's my
mate.
funniest moment of the year. I think Ericsson hit us.
Oh, just because you said that, if you guys haven't seen the video from Formula One, it's pinned to their profile. Our monitor isn't working, but
we'll link it
put
or something.
We'll put it in post production. But they did like this animation of sort of what we're talking about now, the funniest moments in radio and stuff.
Yeah, funniest radio of the year. And
one of my favorites was when they did like the animation of the 2 guys in a boat. They hit the rock, and it's like Roman going, "Fuck no, no!" And then it's like, I think Ericsson hit us, and Ericsson's like fishing in the background, like on another boat, and he just looks over like, "What?"
Yeah, that's my funniest moment of the year by far. That was hilarious.
Mine would one of my favorite ones was meow meow.
Oh my God, I almost forgot about that one.
Any last thoughts for 2018?
No, thank you all for watching, and we'll definitely see you in 2019. Enjoy your holidays. Happy New Year, and 2019 is gonna be fun. Stick around. It'll be a fun one. We're excited.
Like, share, tell people, go old
Yeah,
school.
throw us on Reddit.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys, it's Man United game zone.
Awesome. Let's get out of here. We appreciate all you guys. Happy New Year. Thanks again.
Thank you.
See ya.